now we've got a histogram with IQ scores. IQ scores are supposed to be normally distributed, ideally, and they're measured to the nearest whole number. So we've got our histogram right here, and we're going to answer these questions. The first one is how many students were sampled. For this one, because the tick marks go up by tens, it's kind of hard to tell what those numbers actually should represent. So what they do to make it a little bit easier is they just put the number in front of it. So this is 1 person in this category, 4 people in this category, 12 in this, 52, 45. So if we go through and add all of those up, we can figure out how many we're going to use. I get 200. If I add all of those numbers up, so we have 200 students all together. And then they want to know the class width. So to get the class width, again, we're just going to look down here at the bottom. When they do histograms for this book, they only use lower class limits. So if we just do 70 minus 60, that's going to give us our class width of 10. Again, turn this on. So these are lower class limits. So they don't even include any upper class limits on them, so it's just pretty straightforward. Just subtract those two numbers and you get your answer. Okay, then they want the classes and their frequencies. So here, the first class, its lower class limit is 60. It doesn't go all the way to 70 because that's the next class's lower class limit. So when they write it this way, like this, it's kind of harder to get back what the class limits should be. So you don't want to go from 60 all the way up to 70 because that's the next class's lower class limit, and you don't want to overlap. So what number should we go to for the first class? So we'll go from 60 to 69. So 65 doesn't make sense because that's not a class. That's kind of just a number that's in the middle of it. So, and you don't want 60 to 70 because if you look here, there's overlap right there. So that one's not going to be it. So process of elimination, the only one that makes sense then would be A. So we'll select A for that one. It says which class has the highest frequency. So if we look at the tallest one, it's this 52 that goes from 90 up to 99. Right? So just be sure to click the 90 to 99, not the 90 to 100. So make sure it's the upper class limit of 99, not 100. And then the lowest frequency would be the 1 down here. So it's going to be 60 to 69, not 70. So 60 to 69 would be that one. All right, and then it asks what percent of students had an IQ of at least 130. So 130 is the least it could be. It could be anything from here and above. So altogether, if we're looking, at least 130 is going to be here. So if we add those up, 9 plus 3 plus 2, we get 14. But they ask what percent, so it's 14 out of 200. So 14 of the students out of the 200, that's going to give us 0.07. They want it to be as a percent though, so I'm going to move this decimal over 1, 2 places and say that it's 7%. Okay, and then they say, did any students have an IQ of 164? Yes or no? So here it's 160. There's nothing right here. There's no bar. So in between 160 and 169, they don't have anything. So the answer for that one would be no. Right? Because there are no bars or frequency greater than an IQ of 160. That's how you'll do that one. Not too bad, but the upper and lower limits can kind of throw you off a little bit. Okay, and then this one's just a little, it's going backwards from what we did in class. It's asking you to do, to write out the original set. So you can't do that with the histogram, because if you look back here at these ones, this one in here, you don't know if it's a 60 or a 66 or a 69 or anything like that. You just know there's one person in this interval. But here, you've got 3 numbers and you know the number is a 10, an 11, and a 14. So that's what's nice about a stem and leaf plot. So they say 1 line 0 represents 10, so we don't have to worry about any decimals or anything with this one. So if we look at the first number, it's a 10, and it says down here, separate commas using, or sorry, answers using a comma. So in this case, when you actually list out the numbers, you'll want to use a comma just to separate them a little bit, because otherwise it won't be clear when one number ends and the other one begins. You don't need commas up here because each digit on this side represents one number, so you don't need commas in that case. And then we have a 21, 24, another 24, a 27, a 29, 33, 3 35s, a 37, 38, a 40, and a 41. They say to put it in ascending order, but this should already be in ascending order, so you don't have to worry about reorganizing them or anything like that. Okay. Those are the 2 I wanted to go over from that homework. So. Got a little bit All right, so projects, it's only got 5 questions, but you only get to take it once. So just make sure when you start to take it that you are that you're ready and you're prepared. And if